Oh, we here. We
Good
here.
morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning and happy Finish Strong Friday, everyone. It is Marcus Heflin out of Connecticut and Tennessee. And it's your buddy, Coach Kyle, your favorite boy from the Bayou. And we are so excited that you are here this morning. Coach Kyle, dude, we had ourselves a time last night. We had a holiday party up here. They do the holiday party in January because, you do it in December, it gets overwhelmed with all the other family stuff and everything. I thought it was cool. We got there last night and I saw something that just hit me right between the eyes on how freedom, flexibility, and wealth. Let me explain. Everybody gets into real estate for those three items, right? And we all talk about, oh yeah, the freedom of my schedule, flexibility, like all these things. And yet we sometimes overlook the discipline of showing up and earning all three of those first, right? And I've got this amazing leader, OP, 5 market centers. Like he's been doing it 20 plus years, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 8 to 6 sometimes, right? My man is dialed in. He's pouring into his people. He is laser focused professionally. And then you go to a holiday party and you see all that discipline and all that stick to it, like the schedules and people and my man cut a rug on the dance floor and he was living his best life. And it just made me think, man, it's a Friday. We're pouring into these people. We got a great message today. And I'm like, that's we earn the weekends, we earn the nights off, we earn the vacations, we earn whatever kind of schedule that you're looking to have. We earn it first, and then when you earn it at that level, just let it fly. Like my man, when I tell you the dance floor was his, he owned it. I mean, he might as well have signed that bad boy at the end of the event, and it was it was so good. But like I saw pure happiness and pure just release because he showed up for it first. So, guys, happy Finish Strong Friday. I trust Monday through Thursday went perfectly, swimmingly well, and you showed up well. And for some reason, if you didn't, earn your weekend today. Double down, triple down, do whatever you do, but finish strong. Coach Kyle, how you feeling?
I feel good, man. You know, one of the things I'm hearing from you, Marcus, is the age-old ditty. I can't say that anymore. The age-old adage, dance like no one's watching.
Oh, yeah.
Dance like no one's watching, baby. Go cut that rug and have fun and earn it first. Let's go.
That's it, man. That's it. So what I know it's Friday. You got to give the people what they want, man. Do you have a story for us, Coach Kyle?
Yeah, man. You know, there's been a theme recently, and it's weird. Sometimes, guys, there's this saying in the South, right? Especially when it comes to church, it's like usually the pastor's message is for him, and you just get to listen to it. And there's been a theme to my coaching lately, a golden thread that's been weaving throughout, and even on the show, and it's setting appropriate time horizons for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Giving yourself grace in the time horizons, but also the grit to go out and do the things like you're saying, showing up every single day. And so when I was looking for some inspo for a story, I started thinking about this and writing this out. And I came across this one right here. And it goes like this, guys. It's called The Bamboo and the Fern. So a man decided to give up. He was frustrated that no matter how much effort he put into his dreams, success seemed out of reach. He went into the woods to find peace and reflect. There, he spoke to an old wise tree. The tree said, "Look around you. Do you see the fern and the bamboo? When I planted their seeds, the fern quickly grew and flourished. Its lush leaves covered the ground, but the bamboo, its seed laid hidden in the soil for years. It seemed like nothing was happening. But beneath the surface, the bamboo was growing roots, strong, deep, unshakable roots. And only after 5 years did it break through the soil. Once it started growing, it shot up, reaching heights the fern could never imagine. The tree paused. If I had given up on the bamboo, it would have never grown. Like the bamboo, your hard work is building roots even if you can't see them. Stay patient. Keep nurturing your dream and trust that when the time is right, you will rise higher than you ever thought possible."
There it is. I love that, man. It's definitely part of our theme. What do you take away from it?
Man, it's that again, it's that appropriate time horizon. It's like giving yourself time to grow in foundation. And this is something that I've been going through the past while as I project conversations and conversations that I will be having as the coachee, right? Phil Jones is like, worst time to think of something that stays in the moment. So I'm always like thinking, all right, well, what's the question? How's it going to be? Uh, I think about my career, and for some people, they have eclipsed me way faster. Others, I've eclipsed them, right? And so the question is, man, if you go that route and you're looking at the gap instead of the gain, it's like, wow, they're so much farther ahead of me. Shame on me, blah blah blah, all the things. And then I start to think about this story, and it's like, nah, 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 nah. I've been growing, but I've just been laying roots, big, strong, unshakable roots. And when I start to shoot up, it's game on. Gary Keller talks about it. Success happens slowly, 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 then all at once. Right. And so giving ourselves that permission, as long as we're intentional, mind you, and not treading water, to be growing, to be laying roots and setting that appropriate time for ourselves.
I think back over, shoot, man, 12 years with KW, right? And let's just call it in general real estate. And I think about those times where people come out of nowhere and they
Mhm.
end up on the big stage, and you're like, what? Wait, who is that? Like, where'd that come from? Um, and man, it's because they've literally taken the last 3 to 5 years and done exactly what you're talking about. They've got their admin team together. They've got their systems in place, the models, the whole thing. And then, there's also other agents that get on stage and you're like, oh man, they had a big last year, right? They big momentous flash in the pan. And unfortunately, sometimes, and I never wish this on anybody, and yet it's just how the story plays out. Sometimes those ones that had a big year, we never hear from them again,
Mm.
because they didn't take the time to get that foundation or the basics in play. So the roots, the foundations in houses, like we have all these analogies, and none of them are sexy because everybody wants the theater room, and then they want the backyard with the oasis, and like nobody talks about the rebar and the concrete that makes that
Mm.
backyard oasis, right? And that is, to me, from your story, that's falling in love with the journey, not a paycheck, not a certain outcome. It's waking up every single day and saying, hey, I did well yesterday, or maybe not so well. How do I show up well today? How do I have a moment right now that will set me up for the future? I've got a couple people that are in business partners, right? They're business partners together, and they are essentially dividing their assets because family stuff has happened, and they're going there. Still great partnership, like no animosity, right? And one of them, per the story, was kind of dragging their feet a little bit on what they need to do, and this other one said, hey man, you're causing some stress for my family. Well, that second agent that was having stress in their family, they hadn't really shown up to build the empire, do all the things, and they kind of mailed in. You ever done a science project and got the same grade as all the teammates,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
you were that one person, right? And it's funny because the guy responded. He said, "I'm not causing stress in your life. The last 10 years of you not showing up and having leverage and having the freedom has caused stress. It's just now manifesting in front of you." Because I had all the stress of carrying the weight and doing this, that, and the other, and now you're 2 months and right, and I was just
That guy chose violence.
okay. So let's take it in for a second. There's going to be times in life where we think we need something right there and then right immediate, and we think that's the stressor. If you take a second and think, how did I show up a week ago, a month ago, a year ago? Man, were you actually planting the roots? Were you actually doing the things that would set you up for freedom, flexibility, and wealth long term? I love that story, man. Well done.
Oh man, it's something like we said, guys, we're transparent here. It's something that I still continually battle with.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things that keeps my feet down is there's a quote that says, if you 10 years ago could see where you are now, they'd be extremely proud.
That yes.
right?
Yes.
Why are we what? Like, let's take a let's take a second. How far have you come? What did you get through? One of the things we say often is, bro, you are undefeated because you have breath in your lungs and your eyes are open. You are undefeated champion of getting through the worst times and the biggest changes and the biggest challenges and the biggest growth moments of your life. You're undefeated because you're here.
I had a coaching client this last week. They gave me the C word. And for anybody out there, don't get your head in it can't, right? I can't. And I'm like, I'm sorry. May I ask just a blunt question? You go, okay, I'm ready. I'm like, how often in your life have you said you can't and then you did it anyway? And they kind of reflected and they were like, oh, okay. I'm kind of seeing where you're going with this. I was like, here's the other question for you. How often have you said I can't and never even tried to find out? And both of them have lessons, just different, right? How often are you saying you can't do something and then prove it to yourself? I dare say, when you prove it to yourself that you actually can, do you actually take in that win and say, okay, how do I recondition? Or do you just default back to the habit of I can't? So, man, this goes so deep in so many areas, and yet falling in love with that journey and creating that foundation, man, that's when we see the long-term success. Because my example earlier, the agents who get up there with foundations and systems, we see them annually. We see them every single time, right? They're the names up there. They're the leaders. They're the ones coaching. The flashes in the pan, we wish we see them every single year. We never wish that upon anybody, and yet that foundation's going to change it.
Yeah, man. It's like it's the gap versus the gain mentality, gain versus gap, whatever you're into. We talk about all the time. The path is in the math. Track your numbers, track your year-over-year growth. We call it trends, right? Market reports. You can get all these things. I think a lot of the times one of the reasons, or I think a lot of the times it gets lost in the sauce that we're doing that to track the gap.
Yep.
And we're tracking numbers to see how far from the goal we are. And I think it should be how close to the goal we're getting.
Yeah.
How many step forwards did we take today? Right? Let's change that mentality to, I've got to make 20 phone calls to get on pace for my goal. How about I'm taking 20 steps forward to that goal today.
There we go. That's a cup half empty, half full type mentality, right? Just in different verbs or verbiage. Whenever I do a one-on-one, I always ask one question that I just love to see where people factor themselves in. I say, hey, 1 to 10 over the last 7 days, how did you show up compared to the true potential or the version that you said you would show up with? And they'll give me a 6, 7, 8 range, right? Hardly ever get 9s and 10s, and yet they go, yeah, it's a 7. What I could have done, and then they immediately start to tell me about the gap, like you're talking about, and I say, pop, whoop, skip. What earned that 7? What made you feel like a 7? Like you earned it? What'd you do? Like I want to praise that, and then I want to ask, okay, cool. How can we show up the next week to earn an 8? To earn a 9? I'm not looking for perfection. How do we improve next week and be proud to say 8? And I love your mentality. Like, let's talk about what we have accomplished. And if you do that as well, it allows you to make adjustments to whatever kind of systems you have in place versus just going, why isn't this working? Let's go, let's add something on. Whoa, really reflect on where you are and how you got there.
Yeah, man. Like, who are you today? Who were you?
Yeah.
Some of us out there, we have this 4-letter P word called a past, right? And we may not always be proud of it. You guys ever look back at pictures of yourself and been like, oh, what was that guy doing?
Facts.
How was he living? Oh
Yeah.
my, like I do that all the time, guys. I am just a Webster's dictionary picture of what growth over time looks like. And part of myself, I can go into shame sometimes about it instead of pride. Hey, this is how far I've come. As a son, we got to put that baggage down. And I think when we put that baggage down and focus on the gain instead of just the gap, we run faster.
Yes, sir.
We move quicker. We get into motivation faster instead of constantly raising the bar, right? And just always looking at that gap.
If we say what you focus on expands and all we're looking to do is see the gap, does that make sense? Right. So if we're focusing on the things that actually got us there, okay, I was really good at that. Let me do it again. Let me double down. Like what you focus on truly expands, and it covers literally across every aspect of what we're talking about today. So what do you choose to focus on? Is it the gap or the gain? Are you going to give yourself some love and some props and deserve that 7 and live in it and be like, okay, that's a 7 this week. Now, how do I get a little bit better? We've got this crazy idea of 1% better. And I would love if everybody adopted it this year so we could just go out there and absolutely dominate your market. So we invite you. Give yourself some grace, give yourself some love, give yourself some props, and don't lower your standards.
Yeah, man. And guys, these messages are repetitive for a reason. It's because these are foundational principles that if you get them, if you understand them, if you apply them, everything falls into place. Gary Keller talks about it, calling it the science of success. This is not hougie bougie guru stuff. This is literal data points that you can pull on and show the people who succeed at the highest level follow X, Y, Z. There is a trend. All we're doing is looking at the trend, applying the things that work, and bringing them to you on a daily basis so those seeds can plant and you can be the bamboo instead of the fern, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Man, I had a moment last night. You talk about shame, kind of when you look back from time to time. I had a moment last. I didn't know they were going to do this, but the leadership team put flyers out on every single table. We're talking about 250 people in the room. Like there's a lot. And the flyers had my old headshot, and it was promoting the bold that we're launching, which I love that. Thank you for supporting. And then I went around the tables, and I had no less. They're in the north. They're honest. Okay, I'm not sure if y'all know that, but they said is this is you? Oh, you look so much better in person. And and the first time somebody said that, the table was like, dang, like what, like what? And I said, you know what? Thank you so much because I was younger in that photo, and now I'm a fine wine, and it's how you twist it. It's how you actually take that in, right? Because the table was like, oh, that was mean, or this was. What did you choose to focus on in those arenas? Somebody say something, surprise them with your response. Always look on the optimistic. Always look on the positive, and I think that'll really help as you traverse the rest of this quarter and dominate this year.
No doubt, man. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, it may feel like there's always a gap and never gain because maybe you're constantly raising the bar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So why don't you appreciate that? Oh, wait, I hit this level that I used to dream about hitting. And then go raise the bar. I'm cool with raising the bar, baby. Don't get it wrong.
Just hit it first.
Just hit it first. Let's marinate on the situation. Marcus Heflin, man, anything else for these people of the internet, these awesome men and women out there going and building their life by design for this Friday?
Yeah, man. My final thoughts on this discussion. You and I have had the privilege of being in business together, and we've had several meetings with our team and different organizations, everybody, right? And I think one thing that we are applying in our conversations with our group is when they come in and they're talking about their business plan or they're doing this, that, and the other, we have started to really empower them and become better leaders. But they come to us with questions or scenarios or kind of like an idea. We don't give the answers and we don't tell them exactly what to do. What we do is say, hey, all right, so let's workshop this. I want you to go back and work on X, Y, and Z and present it to me. And by doing that, we've given them ownership to focus on the gain, to focus on their program, to focus on their next steps. And by doing that, they're owning their role within the organization at a different level. So guys, the quicker you can adopt this mindset, this philosophy, this focus, this journey, the quicker it will transfer, I should say, over to anybody in your world. And then imagine you've got 3 to 5 teammates, whether they're admin or agents or a mix of both, and they're all owning their role and they've got the same mindset that you do. So that's what we mean by your business grows to the extent that you do. You get this going, and it's going to be naturally transferred to anybody that pops up in your world. So we're really proud of you. Whatever growth that you've had this week, whatever growth that you have next week, we're honored to be a part of it. and we're rooting for you. Let us know how we can help.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Guys, thank you to those of you who reached out to me this week to talk about the show. That really does fill our cup, man. So appreciate you. It's not lost on us that you could be literally anywhere else right now and you're choosing to be here with Marcus and I. And it's an honor. And guys, we'll see you on Monday, man. Let's go have a good one.
See you, Bubba.